Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for all your new release news and summaries from the week that was. Alrighty, we're going to kickstart this week on the ground with some cool little sports cars. Well, at least disassembling them anyway. So this week we saw some of you may know that I really enjoy Car Mechanic Simulator 2015 just because basically it's a glorified puzzle game, which is just really kind of cool and it's got cool cars in it. So this week we saw the release of the Maserati DLC for Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. So this one's a bit of an oddball one. You get 3 cars in it, but you actually only get 2 of them at the moment. So the third one is actually coming later in an update. So the guys over at Playway Simulations who actually developed this one actually got themselves cut in on the upcoming release of the brand new Maserati Quattroporte, which still hasn't been unveiled to the public yet. So they've got the rights to be able to put this into the game. But it's also meant that because the DLC's been released before the car has, and before the car's been unveiled to the world, that we can't disassemble it until the rest of the world's seen it. So at the moment, you only get 2 Maseratis. You get the Gran Turismo MC Stradale, and you get the Sebring. So they're the only 2 ones you have at the moment. The third one is coming as an update once it's updated in the actual west of the world, which I couldn't find a date, but apparently it's from what I read in a forum, it looks like it's going to be early August. So yes, you get an incomplete DLC at the moment, which is a bit of an oddball one. But anyway, yeah, so for those of you virtual car mechanic simulator enthusiasts, then this is available now. It's on a special launch price reduction of 20% off, otherwise standard price of $6 US or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. Alrighty, continuing on the ground and into terrestrial mode, so we've got a couple of competing add-ons for the world of Train Simulator this week. So we've got Train Simulator 2016. They released the guys at Dotto Games. They released their latest route add-on. So they released a Japanese add-on this week. So we saw the Wakayama and Sakura lines have been line routes have been added on. So these are in the Nara Prefecture of the Kansai region in Japan, which is a very rural area of Japan, sort of outside of Osaka, on the way to Osaka and near Takata. And it's looking pretty cool. Well, one of the things that this area has sort of a bit of a claim to fame of the world is that the Nara Prefecture has the most UNESCO World Heritage listed buildings in the whole of Japan. So the guys at Dotto have actually sort of really, or the guys at Union Workshop, rather the actual developer, they've actually taken a lot of time and actually put a lot of really detailed buildings into the sideline, into the side of your track space. So you get a feel for that really beautiful surroundings that you have when going through this prefecture, which is really fascinating and really kind of cool. And it's got some incredible history, it really does. And also for a bit of a challenge, of course, much of all of the tracks throughout this area, much like Japan, are in the Cape or narrow gauge. So it's only a 3.5 foot gauge of railways, and a lot of it's only single lines. So there's a reason why Japanese trains are so precise and on time. It's because it would cause a massive bottleneck if it ever goes wrong. So it's fairly important, and you get to relive and simulate that as part of your Train Simulator 2016 experience with this add-on. So it's a fairly heftily priced add-on. It is $40 US dollars or your regional equivalent. And considering that you actually only get one train to drive, is actually a little odd. You only get there are 2 trains included, the JNR 103 and 105 series, but you actually only take the wheel, or is it take the wheel in a train? Take the controls, take the wheel. Not sure. Yeah, you only get to take control of the 103. The 105 is there in sim, but it's only there for the AI to operate. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame, and I think a bit of an oversight, really. But anyway, but yeah, so you do get that one. Otherwise, you've got the full length of the Wakuruma and Shakura lines. So you've got quite a significant amount of ground to cover. You also get 7 scenarios included with this, as well as, well, of course, being fully quick drive compatible and compatible with Steam Workshop scenarios as well. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. As I said, like the detail of the trackside environment is really impressive on this one. But yeah, I just think it's a bit odd that for a $40 DLC, you only get one train. That's a little high, but anyway. But yes, so for you, Train Simulator 2016 aficionados who want to experience a bit of Japan in your train sim, then this is available now on Steam. Alrighty, so I did say that there was another piece of Train DLC released this week, but this is for the sort of the other sort of major market player when it comes to train simulation on PC. So Trainz A New Era. Personally, it really annoys me that it's spelled trains with a Z, with a Z. That just really annoys me. It bothers me. It bothers me. It really does. Anyway, but yes, it is available. So for any of you who do use Trainz A New Era, then there is a new DLC out called the Settle and Carlisle DLC. So this is a reboot of its previous version back in the previous Trainz release back in the early 2000s. So they've rebooted it. They've brought it back to life with their new graphics engine, new graphics and physics engine. So it is looking pretty cool. And I must admit that the Trainz franchise, it's sort of like the lesser known cousin. Of Train Simulator and from Dovetail Games. It's definitely the lesser known cousin of it, but it's quite impressive for what it is, and it's also a lot cheaper too. You get a lot packed into this DLC as well, so it's $25 or your regional equivalent. And you're looking at 25 sessions, 25 sessions, 25 scenarios, 5 different routes included with this one. From the look of things, at least 8 trains and dozens of different goods vehicles and tankers and passenger cars and coaches and whatever to have added in there as well. So you get a lot in this pack. Like, you get a lot. And as I said, graphically, it's definitely come a long way from what it has done. So it is quite impressive, and the guys over at Train Sim should probably watch out, because this is a quite impressive looking one. I mean, I haven't played it myself. I'll stipulate that I haven't played it myself, but graphically and physics engine wise, it looks pretty good. So there you go. So yes, if you are a Trainz A New Era driver, then this new DLC is available for you now. As I said, $25 or your regional equivalent available now on Steam. Alrighty, so sticking on the ground for the moment. Sticking close to the ground. We're starting to go into the sky, but close to the ground. So with I've noticed that a lot of with the takeoff and the acceptance of drones in a commercial and a private capacity, it's interesting watching the simulators of said private drone operation grow in parallel to it, and it's been interesting watching that. We've got another one of this title, and most of these these pretty much all come from indie developers, and this is another one interesting one. So this one's called Copter Sky from publisher Copter Pavel, which is it's two guys. It's two guys just with a passion for remote control drones and helicopters, and basically they've come up with their hexacopter. Excuse me, a remote control hexacopter using the Unreal Engine. It's really well done. Like, it looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. It's got a lot of sort of it's specifically designed to sort of use the real input controls, i.e. that you would use in an actual remote control drone. It supports gamepads. It's got various different camera modes, various different sort of loosely based on real world scenarios, and it's just really, really interesting, and they pitch themselves as a bit of a, if you before you go out and control a drone, you might want to actually, use this because this will actually teach you a lot of the stuff that you will need to do when you go out into the real world with a real drone. And they offer you a whole heap of challenges like catching things, carrying objects from point to point, and things that using the camera that's sort of attached to your drone. So it's really interesting. A whole heap of game modes that have been released with it, and it's in constant development. So it's really, really interesting. It's been in beta and green light for a while. So yeah, it's great to see. And the thing is, it's stupidly cheap. This thing's $5 full price, and at the moment on its release discount for a week at 25% off. So stupidly cheap, looking quite good. Been in development for a while, but looking really impressive. So yeah, I'm interested in this. I think it's a very interesting look of what it can do, and the guys that are developing it are sure that there will be more. Sort of updates coming in the very near future with the extra game modes and stuff like that. So very interesting. Available now on Steam. As I said, normal price $5, currently $3.75 your regional equivalent until the 29th. Available now on Steam. Alrighty, so moving into a different kind of simulation for the moment, but sort of staying sort of around the ground, but starting moving into the air again. So Command Modern Air Naval Operations is something I've toyed with a few times. I still haven't done a review video of it yet. I will do that eventually. But it's something that you have to spend a lot of time getting into. So just fair warning here. It's a lot. There's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot. For any of my viewers who remember the Harpoon series, yeah, this is the true successor to it. Like, it's insane in the amount of detail that it does. Anyway, they've released a mission pack, or a scenario pack. Now, there's a lot of there's literally thousands of community made scenarios available for this title. But this is one of their first official ones. So this is a bit of it. It's $3, but it plays out something that's very, very topical. So they've called it Command Live, Old Grudges Never Die. And it basically puts you in today's world, like right now, or maybe a few weeks ago before the attempted coup over in Turkey, and it basically puts you in charge of either the Turkish armed forces or the commander of the Russian forces in Syria, and basically sort of poses a very interesting what-if scenario of what could happen if this escalates, and how nasty could it get as a regional conflict. As I said, the depth that this simulator has is insane, and it's definitely something that, before you get the DLC, you want to make sure you've got a solid grasp of the actual core title, something that I'm still working on. But if you're interested in an alternate history, but alternate current history, or perhaps a glimpse into the very near future, this would be a very interesting one for you to pick up. So yeah, it's available now on Steam, $3 US or your regional equivalent, available now. Alrighty, okay. Moving into the world. We're going to skip. We'll come back to the world of virtual aviation in a moment. But we're going to skip. We're going to go for the world of virtual empire building. So Anno 2205, a title. I love the Anno series. Always loved its sort of corporation empire sort of simulation style. I've always really loved it. I did the series on the core Anno 2205. But this is their latest piece of DLC, and possibly and their last announced piece of DLC. So this is the last of their published sort of available DLC. So Anno 2205 Orbit, essentially it really, really does change the game. So a lot of people sort of complain that Anno 2205 got very boring very quickly, because it kind of like once you figured a couple of things out, it was pretty much that was it. It was done. This one now adds an orbital station, but not only that, but it adds in ability for you to that station can also influence what's happening back on Earth, and the regions you have on Earth. And it's very interesting, and there's been a whole slew of updates that have come out since the Tundra DLC as well, which are absolutely fascinating and really change the game. And I'm really looking forward to bringing you the series that I'm currently recording for that, because it really changes the core game. And I think this DLC is quite interesting and really well done. So for those of you who ordered the deluxe edition or own the season pass DLC, you will automatically get this one because, as I said, it's part of the season pass DLC. For those of you who didn't get the season pass DLC or did get the pre-order deluxe edition, then available now for $12.95 US or your original equivalent. Available now on Steam or via the Ubisoft Uplay software purchasing game for them. Available now at those various places. Definitely take a look at it. I like it so far. I'll say that much. I like it so far. I'll say that much. Anyway, alright, available now from your favourite retailer. Alright, moving now, of course, on to the world of flight simulation. Okay, so we saw a few different releases this week. So, the first one we saw was Warbird's Dawn of Aces, World War I Air Combat. Okay. I don't have this, and I'll be honest, I will not be getting it. For a very simple reason. It's the same reason why I never got Eve. So I have a problem with a title which is I have no problem with MMOs. I want to stress this. I have no problem with MMOs. There are a couple of MMOs that I play and that I enjoy. What I have a problem with is that when an MMO sells the core title, but then you have to pay to keep using it. That's my problem. I have no problem with an MMO when you pay a monthly fee to access the content with a $0 entry fee. I have no problem with an MMO which is either which is a zero entry fee, and then you can experience most 99% of the features. But if you want to not do the grinding, you just have to buy booster packs and whatever. And I have no problem, and I especially have no problem with MMOs where you just pay one price, even if it's quite high, but that grants you permanent access. Of course, that's my favorite, but I have no problem with the 3 individual business models. I have no problem with any of those, so that's fine because they're clear and upfront what they are. This one's not. This one, it's buried in a throwaway line at the bottom of the description, which basically says, after the first month, if you want to keep using this, you've got to keep playing. The other problem I have is that these guys have had a couple of sims around there before. Their main claim to fame was a World War II one called Warbirds, which has been around for a few years now, which has had mixed reviews on around the communities. But all they've done is they've taken that interface and they've dropped World War I aircraft in it. That's it. But your actual tutorial, like how to get into the sim, is all still flying World War II aircraft. I'm like, you're selling yourself as a World War I thing, not World War II. Why are you even flying World War II aircraft? What the hell? So I've got quite a few problems with this. I really do. If you do want to give it a go, then it is available now, either direct from the Warbirds team, their website, or available on Steam. The Steam edition does have a discounted entry point at the moment, 15% off, so $12.75 US, your regional equivalent, normally $15 US. But as I said, what you're paying for is you're actually paying for the first month subscription is what you're paying for. So I'm not impressed, just not impressed with the way they're selling it. So anyway, if this is your thing, go check it out. All yours. Available now on Steam or directly from the iEntertainment Network website. Available now. Alrighty, in XPlane 10 news. So the guys over at Just Flight 4 have released their Air Hauler. The classic Air Hauler has been released for XPlane 10 on Steam. So I just want to say I love Air Hauler. I love Air Hauler. Air Hauler is an awesome title. It really is. And Air Hauler 2 is going to be even more incredible. It's so cool. I've been mucking around with the beta version. I'm so excited by it. It's really awesome. This is the classic Air Hauler though, not Air Hauler 2. Made for XPlane. but there's some issues. Looks like Just Flight didn't do much quality control when they moved on to the Steam platform for this. Pretty much everybody has said across both the Steam reviews and across a couple of community sites have basically said it's broken. It's completely broken. It can't deal with a Steam installation of XPlane 10. It just can't do it. And I'd like to point out as well that Air Hauler for XPlane was designed for XPlane 9, not for XPlane 10. I just want to point that out. It can work with XPlane 10 with some odd tweaks and whatever in like at the non-Steam world. But yeah, it looks like it's done pretty badly in the port over to Steam. So yeah. I highly recommend Air Hauler. Believe me, I highly recommend Air Hauler. Unfortunately for X-Plane flyers, it looks like Air Hauler 2, at least initially, is not planning on coming to X-Plane. We may see it come to X-Plane 10 in the future, but at the moment there's no announced plans for it. But either way, I highly recommend the original Air Hauler. I think it's awesome, it's amazing, so I do highly recommend that you get the product. Just I wouldn't recommend getting it on Steam based on what I'm seeing here. I think it's kind of broken on Steam. So yes, buyer beware. Available now for $30 or your regional equivalent. Or if you do want to get it away from Steam, you can pick it up over at the Just Flight store or your favorite flight sim retailer. Alrighty, okay, so, well, you know, X-Plane News is always really short. It's kind of a bit of a shame, but X-Plane News is always really short. But moving into the world of FSX and P3D and the ESP platforms now, but sticking with Just Flight. So the guys over at Just Flight have released their long-awaited Hawk T1A Advanced Trainer. So the market's been without a high-quality Hawk T1 for a really long time. The last time we had one was the I think it was the I want to say SkySim one, but I don't think that was the publisher's name. But it was brilliant. Like, it was absolutely incredible. I flew it. I loved it. It was awesome. But they pulled it from the market. And it was never quite finished. It was never quite, and even when it was on the market, it was never quite finished. But so Just Flight's stepped in and they filled the blank. And from the looks of things, and I must say that, and at Flight Sim Con I got to see the visuals. Visually, the external model is absolutely stunning. It really is. The internal model hadn't been finished yet for the one that I got a preview of at Flight Sim Con, but from all the renders I'm seeing, it looks really good. All I can say is I hope that because it's from the same team that brought us the Just Flight Tornado. Now, although the Just Flight Tornado has improved, it took almost 2 years, but it did improve to a point where it's now flyable and it's now actually not too bad. I really hope these guys have learnt from that and actually are going to get this one right out of the box, because there's a lot riding on this for them. There's a lot. Just throwing it out there, Just Flight, there's a lot riding on you getting this right. Anyway, so yes, available now from Just Flight or from your favourite flight sim retailer. The Just Flight store does have a introductory price, so a small discount is available on that one until Monday the 1st of August. So if you do want to grab it, do pick it up now, because we'll consider picking it up now. Otherwise, I will hopefully have a review video of it very, very soon for you. Available now from Just Flight and your favourite flight sim retailer. Alrighty, continuing with the flight sim world and moving into the world of scenery releases this week. So we saw quite a few interesting scenery releases this week. So as you know, folks, this is a release show. This is not a preview show or an upcoming show, or I very rarely sort of feature that kind of stuff on here. I don't feature what's releases. So this one was a very interesting release that came out. So France VFR have been kicking around for a while. We've done a couple of announcements here on the NovaWrap for products they've released. What's really interesting about this release is they've done the Côte d'Azur province of France. They've released that, so it's a fairly huge chunk that they've covered it in release as. So they've covered in photoreal it's up to 1 meter per pixel resolution, which is insanely detailed for the ESP platform, by the way. And LOD13 mesh through pretty much almost the entire of the region as well. It covers a fairly huge part of the region as well, and gives you all the airports as well. So it's not just a photoreal scenery pack. It's a photoreal scenery pack with photoreal airports as well, with custom buildings, custom 3D buildings, custom 3D technology as well, and it looks pretty cool. Monaco not so much. But the reason the rest of the region is done. It looks quite stunning as well. And normally I don't say that about photoreal. Photoreal I'm very wary of and dubious of. But what made this release interesting, as I alluded to at the start of this, was the fact that Orbix have only just announced that they're doing like this region as well. So it seems like that the France VFR guys have actually sort of rushed this out. And the reason why I say that is because there's actually a tiny little note at the bottom of the list of features that you get as part of this release, which says some features may not yet be implemented in the product release. They will be added later during the final release. So something tells me they really pushed hard to rush this out before Orbix got there, started infringing on their territory. So, yeah, kind of interesting. The other problem that I have with it, of course, is like a lot of photoreal, is that it doesn't have seasonal variations. So it's got this beautiful texture resolution, but it only does it for summer. So just FYI for that one. So yeah, it as I said, looks pretty cool, but again, there's always been a few issues with France VFR stuff, and especially with its ability to work with other scenery add-ons. But yeah, if France VFR is a product that you've enjoyed in the past, then feel free to head out and get it. Available now from the France VFR website for 35 euros. Available now. Alrighty, we're continuing on with scenery releases this week. So we saw the guys over at Canada Sim. So a French-based developer, actually, this one. So Canada Sim, they've released their Toronto VFR X for FSX and P3D in its various forms. So it's available for FSX Classic, FSX Theme Edition, and for P3D version 3. No word on whether it's compatible with version 2 or not. But it does a really beautiful rendition of not only actual Toronto's main airport, but also the surrounding area. And this is almost like a mini region. So it's not just Billy Bishop Toronto City Centre Airport. It's the Greater Toronto area as well. So it's all the areas around and all the really sort of like all the really distinctive buildings of Toronto City, and including as well, they've also done not only that, but they've also done a whole heap of the water and amphibious docks throughout the area as well as doing the local hospital as well. So they've actually done the main hospital. The Toronto General Hospital and its helipad, fully landable, fully working, all featured in that one as well. But what actually makes it more interesting to me is the fact that they've said that it's designed to be evolved and upgraded. So as the city changed and as more heliports and landmarks get added in and get modelled, it will be included as in future updates as included as part of the price. So you won't have to pay extra for it, which is cool. And not only that, but they've taken the time to actually not just if you've got if you want to sort of moved around with low to high end computer specs and stuff like that. They don't just switch a couple of objects off, whatever. They've got whole complete separate BGLs to customize your performance experience. Now, for a developer to actually go to that kind of detail of actually doing whole revamps of their BGLs, which is, for those of you who don't know, BGL is the file that drives the scenery that you see. To actually just sort of do a whole heap of that done for specific performance and performance capability of your system, that's really impressive work. So I'm really impressed to see this one, and it looks absolutely stunning. It really does. So yeah, available now over at Sim Market at the moment. I haven't seen it at any other of the normal retailers yet, but available now over at Sim Market for 15 euros. Alrighty, continuing on with more scenery releases. So we've got a couple of more interesting scenery releases. So Drzewski, I don't even know why I bother pronouncing this. Drzewski Design. Great developer, done a lot of incredible work. Specializing in sort of Russian, Eastern European sort of that region's airports. And areas. He's released his Moscow City X. So of course he's very famous for his New York City X as well, which is which is pretty much considered the standard for New York City scenery. Moscow City X is what he's done as well. He's done it for the Moscow metropolitan area, which is huge, by the way. This scenery covers over 4,000 square kilometers. Sorry, 4,000. Wow, I wish it would. 4,000 square kilometers. Like, that's insane. That's mind blowing how much area that is. That's just. What the hell? I kind of can't believe it. I'll be honest. Kind of can't believe it, but he's done so much. It's insane. It really is. Anyway, he's got like, is it 4,000 square kilometers? It's ridiculous, and not only that, it's seasonal day-night photoreal terrain with resolution down to 50 centimeters per pixel. Like, this is nuts. This is absolutely bonkers. This really is. It is absolutely insane. So anyway, so this is available, and what it does is just it's insane with its detail. It really is. So it's got such incredible thing. It's got the Kremlin, of course, and all the amazing stuff that it does. It's got just. It even has a mission. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, there was in 1987 there was a bit of a furor because a German pilot basically beat the Soviet air defenses and landed his Cessna 172 in Red Square. Wow, that's just, that were all sorts of international incidences. But anyway, you can actually recreate this with that one. So not only is there incredibly detailed model of the Kremlin, incredibly detailed custom 3D, over 2,000 custom made 3D models for the region, 4,000 square kilometers of movement, 3D ships, people, train ships everywhere, and scenery of the surrounding 8 airports. Like, this is nuts. Like, this is absolutely nuts. What? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just gonna say this is an insane piece of add-on. This is like a region, it really is. And 32 euro. It comes with a price tag to match, but yeah, 32 euro or your nearest or your regional equivalent. Available from your favourite flight sim retailer, but it's just the settings look incredible, and even old Putin gets in there. Even Putin gets a shot in there. So there you go. Drzewski Design Moscow City X available now from your favourite flight sim retailer now. Alrighty, continuing on with scenery releases. So another city release this time. P-Real Soft. P-Real Soft, who have previously released in their HD cities range, Barcelona, have released another European city. So this time they've released their HD cities, Frankfurt City. So this is it's the largest city in the German state of Hesse, 5th largest city in Germany. It's a really beautiful city, actually, by the way, having spent quite a bit of time there myself. Really, really beautiful region. Gateway to the Rhine Valley. Absolutely beautiful city. Amazing air museum in there too, by the way. If you ever go to the Deutsche Techniker Museum, absolutely incredible museum. Anyway, so this has been faithfully reproduced in detailed. And detailed autogen and custom 3D models looking absolutely insane, and the frame rates actually look pretty good as well, which is quite surprising. Ground textures in high definition for day and night. They don't mention whether or not they have seasonal variation, but they do have a day-night variation as well. As I said, custom autogen and 3D objects as well. But here's the thing that's really cool is that they've mapped it and made it compatible for FTX global users, so that the streetlights by night on the main roads and streets of the city will match that from FTX global and the European land class as well, and fully compatible with Mega Airport Frankfurt version 2 as well from Aerosoft. So great lot of interoperability and compatibility being released from the guys here at Photorealsoft, and just looking insane. And also, they do give the airports in the surrounding region a makeover as well. So, yeah, huge, insane region. Looking amazing, and not bad for the price of €22. Not bad price for that one. So if you do want to add a bit of billing and a bit of excitement to your trip into Frankfurt, and to sort of and give you a bit more of immersion outside of the airport surrounds and the region nearby, definitely look at picking this one up. It's looking pretty incredible. Available now from Simucker or your favorite flight sim retailer now. Alrighty, so this week I'm wrapping up with, now I know I said earlier that this is a release show and not really like, for betas and pre-releases and stuff, but this is a released beta. So one of my personal favorites aircraft to fly in the ESP platform is Manfred Jan's DC-3 C47 family. So that includes the C47 and the Basler BT-67. I love his modelling. His modelling is incredible. Now, the one thing that's always sort of bugged me a little bit, and bugged a lot of people apparently, about his C47 and the C119 was the fact that it used the Basler's cockpit. So he did the Basler first, and then he did the other models later on, but he just used the same virtual cockpit, which meant you're flying a piston engine aircraft, and yet you've got gauges that talk about turboprop related things, and you've got this modern glass instruments inside the rickety old C47, and you've got like a ski handle for a non-skied aircraft. It was always a bit off-putting, and we all dealt with it, but it was always kind of like there was always a wouldn't it be nice if kind of thing. Lo and behold, we now have a C47 Skytrain version 3 has now been released in beta format. I want to stress this, it is currently in beta, so there are a few bugs in it at the moment. But it has been said that most of the version 2 liveries will work it with a bit of tweaking. Look, as I said, it is a beta, so there are some bugs at the moment. It's currently sitting at version 3.12 for the beta. Here's the thing, though, is that not only has the cockpit got a complete redo, the sound sets had a complete redo. The Wasp radials now just sound absolutely insanely amazing. They really do, because they're no longer aliasing the default DC-3 sounds. It's just insane how amazing this thing looks and sounds now. As I said, there are still a few issues. I've come across a couple of myself already, but it definitely feels more cranky than the old version 2. The old version 2 always had a it was a bit cantankerous every now and again. You had to treat the engines right and stuff like that. But yeah, version 3, you really have to treat the engines right. So just, if you're just thinking you can just point and go, yeah, no, you're not. You've got the period instruments. You've got the 1930s, 40s style instruments in here. No modern glass avionics in here, guys. It's all the old school steam driven stuff. So if this interests you and you've been missing this from your flight sim experience, feel free to go pick it up now. Available over at Sim Outhouse. Also been uploaded to Simviation, and I think it's on its way over to flightsim.com as well. So pick it up from your favorite freeware supplier. But definitely head over to the forum over at Sim Outhouse to keep up with the development and the work on that one, because as I said, it is a beta, it is a work in progress. So there you go. Alright folks, that does now wrap up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.